I am. I think they're trying to do the live stream. It's popping up right now on the wall. That's the wrong one. Yeah, it's okay. I'm ready either way. I can pop up. Ten 30 a.m. on this Thursday morning, waking up weather aware. If you are going to be out and about in the next few hours, definitely pay attention to this. Looking out over Temple, starting to get dark and dreary. It's just cloudy here in Bell County right now, but heavy thunderstorms are headed in our direction. 72 degrees, cloudy and very humid when you step out right now. Large complex of heavy thunderstorm activity, torrential downpours, essentially stretching from far southern Texas all the way up to Dallas-Fort Worth, headed towards Waco right now. We have a flash flood warning out and just popped up. Over 2 inches of rain has fallen near Meridian and Lake Whitney. That same complex is headed towards I-35, Hill County, Hillsborough right now. No severe thunderstorm warnings quite yet. I am monitoring winds gusting just below those parameters, so be aware that could happen at any time as well. But the real story is how much rain is falling. All of this is essentially going across our entire viewing area. Flash flooding will be an issue as it heads toward I-35. You could see Meridian, Clifton, you're up next. Waco, I would expect probably during the lunch hour, the next hour it is to you, and then eventually Bell County as well. Rest of today, this heavy complex moves through. More this afternoon and this evening is anticipated for the region, so please turn around, don't drown if you see water. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, just now afternoon, it is 12:10. We're going to keep this live stream going as we now have multiple clusters of thunderstorms in the viewing area, brief heavy downpours. We've had quite a few reports now, especially north of Waco with that particular complex that is now, it has been raining near Lake Whitney and northwest of Waco for about 2 hours now. In the initial half hour northwest of Waco when it was entering Bosque and Hill counties, which are now under a flash flood warning valid over the next hour, they were getting rainfall rates of a couple of inches per hour. So obviously that's going to cause issues on an already saturated ground and roadways that already particularly had water surrounding them. So ongoing flash flooding. I want to talk about the lightning too, you guys. And by the way, it is 12:11 right now at about 12:21, 12:22. So in about 10 minutes, we are going to be doing a live cut in on Channel 6 if you want to tune in. That will be about 5 minutes long, but we'll keep this rolling during that as well. But essentially this massive complex, I've been looking at two complexes of thunderstorms, one coming in from DFW between there and Abilene. It was right around the I-20 corridor, well to our north all morning when I was on air for Texas Today. In the hours since, it has essentially slowly been drenching everywhere between Abilene and Dallas, pointing towards Waco. So that whole area, I wouldn't travel in those areas this afternoon. They have received some pretty crazy rainfall rates. Waco Metro just got clipped and it moved through rather quickly in like a 30-minute to an hour time frame during the lunch hour just now leaving Waco. But it dropped a couple of inches of rain in that time frame. So definitely getting reports of both gusty winds, lots and lots of lightning, hearing thunder. But the flooding has been the main threat and is the main issue early this morning. I know there's a severe thunderstorm warning valid for McLennan County right now. Most of that has pushed the heavier bouts of activity, the heavy downpours now in the eastern parts of Waco, but headed towards Marlin, Mexia, eventually going to be headed towards Centerville, Franklin as well. You can see that particular cell that is pushing out of Waco right now. That severe thunderstorm warning just came out in the past 5 minutes or so, is valid until the top of the hour. So the next 45 minutes or so as it pushes off. Generally, all of this is moving towards the southeast. However, this cell and cluster of thunderstorms near Goldthwaite, San Saba, that's just now entering our viewing area. A little bit of a different situation with it. It has started bowing out in the past 30 minutes. When I say that, I mean it's turning into a line, and you see how it's kind of pushing forward. I'm definitely watching the winds with this thunderstorm. It is going to get really gusty when it reaches your location. Highway 281, Highway 36. If you are traveling Temple to Gatesville, upwards of Hamilton, Comanche areas, I would watch for flooded roadways for sure. I know Hamilton in particular, it's going to reach you in the next half hour or so. Winds are going to pick up and likely it drops a couple of inches of rain. And I know people who have ranches near there that are saying there is still running water on their creeks, low-lying areas. Areas that you know on county roads and low-lying areas, even on the major highways. Once a couple of inches of rain dropped today on an already saturated ground. And again, flooding is a primary concern today overall, even though we're also dealing with the severe thunderstorm warnings. This particular complex that I'm pointing to here, you can see when it's going to be to your location. It is essentially moving more west to east versus the other complex near Waco that is moving from northwest to southeast. This is moving basically straight to the east right now. So you can see it's going to be to Lomita at about 12:45. Eventually Adamsville, Ailman, and then Permella, eventually probably about an hour from now for you guys. So I've been watching this complex develop over the past few hours, moving west to east. It's got impressive wind. It's also got hail embedded in it. We're hearing reports of essentially pocket change size, some reports of quarter-sized hail, but we're going to continue to watch it as it heads into a super rich environment. So the rainfall rates are very impressive. We're seeing rainfall rates of 2+ inches per hour. Gatesville Likely in the next hour and a half, it's to you. You can see I-35. I'm going to back up and show you because I'm right in the way, but I-35 is right here, kind of on the right side of this image. Eventually, all of this pushes into this area. Here's another concern of mine. This severe warned storm is eventually going to head east. Drenching near I-35, you can see some hourly rates there she's clicking on. Aviona, by the way, is here. She's our brand new meteorologist. Welcome. We are so happy to have you. This is actually the first time right now that all 3 meteorologists on our team are in the same building together. We're all going to stick with you through this over the next few hours, especially. Again, if you're just tuning in, flooding, main concern, but we also have 2 separate severe thunderstorm warnings that are valid over the next half hour, 45 minutes or so. This western complex that's headed west to east, dropping impressive rainfall totals, quarter-sized hail, gusty winds as well, 60-mile-an-hour gusts. I know I was on the National Weather Service chat a few minutes ago. They were talking about potentially there could be some gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour. So I would anticipate for some limbs to be breaking off and things of that nature as all of this generally pushes off towards the east. Eventually it's going to reach the I-35 corridor. I don't think it's going to break up by then. It's entering an environment that is super rich. Like I said, lots of humidity in the atmosphere. We've got southerly winds. I do not think that's going to break up eventually. Yes, it will impact areas that I did want to say. You could see Waco far off to the east that just got clipped with lots of heavy rain and wind. Eventually that complex is going to enter a vicinity that already had a few inches of rain today. So when that happens, it's going to essentially exacerbate the flooding, which is the main problem today. This severe thunderstorm warning here, Hubbard, Coolidge, headed towards Mexia, Groesbeck, eventually Thornton, and then after that, probably in the next hour and a half or so, don't think it's going to break up either. Likely it kind of maintains what it's doing. It's going to drop quite a bit of rain in an area that has in particular been dealing with flooding and river flood warnings all week. And honestly, probably the past 2 or 3 weeks at this point, we've had so much rainfall. So entering an area with an already saturated ground. If you know roadways on your commute, especially this afternoon, if you're picking your kiddos up, you live in Mexia or Groesbeck pointing east, this complex is essentially going to drench your area and probably drop some penny to potentially quarter-sized hail, gusty winds as well over the next few hours. For the afternoon commute, I would anticipate to be messy for a lot of us. And then again, we have that western complex as well. This is what I'm now calling the eastern complex, and then entering our western counties right now. And eventually we'll get to I-35 is another complex. It's a cluster of thunderstorms that have come together. So this particular complex here and this severe thunderstorm warning just to the east of Waco at this point. Earlier it was moving at a really good clip, like 40, 45 miles an hour. It has slowed down a little bit for the time being, but it's kind of been varying in terms of speeds. It's competing with the southerly air and will sort of speed up and slow down and intensify and then calm down a little bit. So that's why we're monitoring this stuff so closely today, because we have so much going on in the atmosphere essentially. You can see just how heavy that rain is near Coolidge right now, headed towards Mart. Groesbeck, you're up next for sure. I'm sure if you're in Groesbeck right now, you're thinking, what in the world? Because it's probably very dark if you look off towards west and Waco. So you can see now where it's going to be over the next hour or so. It's looking like Mexia. It's going to be to you just after 12:30, so that tells me that it is moving at a pretty good clip at the moment. Eventually Jewett, it is going to be to you in exactly an hour. So anticipate for when it reaches your location, it is going to get darker. I've been hearing reports of it just looking eerie and feeling eerie outside. I know it's super humid and already warm outside right now. You're going to see the lightning too. The lightning has been crazy today, you guys. Since I got here early this morning, about 10 hours ago, when I was driving to work this morning, I could see the lightning and it was over 60 miles from my location. So a ton of lightning embedded with this thunderstorm activity. You don't want to be outside. I would say if you have outdoor activities anywhere across Central Texas, even in areas that are not severe warned, I would not recommend being outside because of the lightning simply. It can travel outside of thunderstorms, by the way. But this particular warning, again, if you're just tuning in, to the east of Waco in general, but absolutely drenching Mart, headed into Groesbeck, impacting Mexia as well. Heavy downpours. The rainfall rates have been the big story so far today, other than the couple of the warnings that we now have out and valid right now. The rainfall rates very, very impressive. I'm talking certain areas. It's been a brief heavy downpour for like 20 minutes. It rains really hard, but drops 2-3 inches in that time frame, super fast time frame. And that tells me flash flooding is going to be an issue because this isn't over yet. This isn't the only line of storms we're going to see moving through the area. You can actually see some back building and more activity forming up to the northeast of Meridian, off towards Hillsboro. Again, they got several inches of rain already today. So definitely flash flooding is going to be an issue into this afternoon, probably all the way through tonight too. We're going to be weather aware. I can already tell you tomorrow morning, I'm going to get here for the morning show and we're going to be talking about flash flooding because sometimes there's a lull. You'll have flooding, the street flooding, things of that nature, but it's got to drain somewhere, right? And we already have a super saturated ground. So it's going to go into our waterways and they are going to get swollen over the next 24 hours plus likely. Especially, I know, rivers, creeks, low-lying areas, areas that have low water crossings on county roads, things of that nature. With this much rainfall falling, it's all got to go somewhere. So the flooding is the main story again if you're just tuning in, but this severe thunderstorm warning is for quarter-sized hail, winds gusting up to 60 miles an hour as well. And if you guys are hearing reports while I'm talking and just want to chime in, I know they're starting to hear more reports from people. By the way, it is 12:22 and we are about to cut into Channel 6 if you want to tune in. We'll keep this going as well. But if you hear me change tone and sound like I'm on TV, it's because I am. That's going to start here in a few seconds. Okay. Radar's fine. Good afternoon now. I'm sorry, I've been all morning. I almost said good morning. We want to keep you weather aware, here to help and keep you safe all day. Our whole weather team is here for the first time, all three of us right now, covering 2 severe thunderstorm warnings and ongoing flash flooding across really the northern portions of our viewing area thus far, but more is forming and more on the way. First, going to cover this complex to the east of Waco, just drenched Waco, Hillsboro, Bosque County, Hill County, all got several inches of rain over the past 2-3 hours or so. Tons of lightning embedded with this activity that's moving at a pretty good clip. However, like I said, flash flooding issues galore for the viewing area over the next day or so. It is dropping a couple of inches of rain, like I said. Moving through Mart, Coolidge towards Mexia and Groesbeck right now. In general, from northwest to southeast. That severe thunderstorm warning is valid for the next 40 minutes or so until 1 o'clock as it does travel to the southeast, dropping a lot of rain, so flash flooding, lightning, but also it is severe warned for quarter-sized hail and winds gusting to 60 miles an hour. So super gusty winds as it hits your location. Secure things outside. I would not recommend being outside. If you had lunch plans and you're in these general directions and vicinity, I would just not recommend travel right now. And very quickly, it is dropping so much rain that very likely we are going to be dealing with the flash flooding. That is a big issue. And you just saw that box pop up there, new flash flood warning valid until 3:30 this afternoon between Coolidge and Mexia essentially, but off towards Groesbeck, Thornton. And honestly, eventually it's going to impact and already just now is Fairfield, Buffalo, and I-45 corridor. So between 35 and 45, I would say, even though this flash flood warning is brand new, I would use a lot of caution, allow extra time, and definitely if you see even just standing water in an area that you don't think it's deep at this point, with this much rain falling this quickly, I would not drive in it. But again, if you're just tuning in, this particular warning for essentially to the southeast of Waco, moving more southeast, it's got heavy downpours, it's got lightning, it's got quarter-sized hail being reported, and super gusty winds as well. If you want to pull up the other complex, we've got more going on and more on the way. It's not over, by the way, just so you know. This isn't the only round of weather we're going to see today. We've got another severe thunderstorm warning out. Look at the lightning with this particular complex. It is also dropping a ton of rain. We're getting reports of pocket change. So penny-sized hail, some pea-sized hail reports, and up to quarter size with this complex. It's got more of an easterly movement. So it's coming in from the west. Very gusty winds. We've got winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. We've got the hail. And the real story, the biggest story and the biggest threat is the flash flooding, of course, in a super saturated area. Highway 36 wouldn't travel from Temple upwards of Gatesville, Hamilton, Comanche. I would not recommend that, at least over the next few hours. But you can see more back building behind it. So once this initial line moves through, it may move through rather quickly, drop a lot of rain, and essentially right behind it is a little more that's coming in from the west. So this event is not over quite yet. It is now 12:26, and you're seeing multiple rounds of rain. And by the way, this is all eventually going to reach I-35. So areas like Waco, potentially eventually it gets to your area and you've already had a few inches of rain. And again, flooding is going to end up being the primary threat. But we do have a severe thunderstorm watch valid until 5 o'clock. Looking at velocity right now, it's looking like maybe winds are starting to kick up. We are watching for potentially some rotation, but it's not looking very tight right now. I would say straight line winds are the primary threat with this particular cluster of thunderstorms as it heads west to east right now. But again, we've got the live stream going on our KCEN app. You just tap that in your app store. We're going to keep this going over the next few hours. We're not going to leave you guys. We're going to continue to watch all of these complexes and even look at what's to come here in the coming hours, because primarily it's looking like this afternoon through about dinner tonight. We're going to have multiple rounds of this coming in, generally moving west to east, but some of it moving northwest to southeast, and again dropping a ton of rain. And we do have that severe watch, meaning conditions are there for a severe thunderstorm warning. We've already got a couple of warnings valid right now. We'll be watching this the rest of today, so please stick with us on this. You can see that eventually this heavy activity is near Adamsville at about 1 o'clock. All of it moving towards us here on I-35. Stick with us. Excuse me.
Are you muted? Go ahead and mute.
I'm muted. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right, wonderful.
All right, thanks everybody for staying with us on our live stream this morning on KCENTV.com, the 6 Plus app, the 6 News app, and of course on Facebook Live as well. We have team coverage going this morning. You just saw Whitney on air. Now I'm going to take a turn here just to give you a quick update. We have an extension of that severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for parts of Mills County that now extends all the way into Coryell County, parts of Lampasas County as well. Now notice this whole storm system is pretty linear here from north to south, extends about 30 or 40 miles. So saying any one area is in the path of this storm is not what we're looking for here. Let's go ahead and put a track on this, basically along the entire line from basically the northern parts of Mills County all the way down to Lomita, and see where this thing is headed. And as we do that, just know that as you see this more linear shape, that's going to be more of a straight line wind concern. There is a little bit of a hail core within the storm. It has a history of 1-inch hail. At this point, though, not seeing much in the way of a particularly strong hail core, but the winds coming out of the storm we know are in the neighborhood of about 60 miles per hour. So if you're in Lomita, 1238, Lambkin, 1244, Shive by 1248, Hamilton, 1258, Alamon by 107, Primela by 117, and then on towards Jonesboro, Arnott, and Cranfills Gap as we hit the bottom of the hour. So this storm moving off to the east here. Let's take a look at those wind speeds. Let's do a velocity scan here, see where those strongest winds are for the folks at home. Just so we have an idea. Now, you're going to see strong winds basically along the entire length of this storm, but obviously there are going to be areas where those gusts are going to be a little higher, a little stronger than along the rest of that line. So if you are near Goldthwaite, say just to the east of Goldthwaite, entirely possible there's a hail core there, but the strongest winds are actually south of Goldthwaite. You see these brighter green shadings here. Those are the areas I'd be looking at for those 60-mile-per-hour winds. So if you're along 183 right now, 49, 50, possibly as high as 60. But again, right now our radar is showing about 50 miles per hour. Still gusty winds, still something that will blow you around on the road. So definitely need to be aware of that. If you have travel along 183, I would say give it just a few more minutes. Let this get across the highway. This part of the storm is heading off towards Adamsville. So if you're in Adamsville here over the next probably about 20 to 25 minutes, you're going to be experiencing some very strong winds blowing through town. Maybe some pocket change sized hail, but right now the biggest concern, the biggest severe concern is going to be for those winds. The biggest concern overall for the day is the flooding. A lot of rain already over the last few weeks, a lot of rain again today, so that's what we're expecting. Take a wider look at everything. You can see this extends all the way from the I-45 corridor all the way well out west of I-35, and you can see another severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Limestone County. That went in effect for about another half hour, and again, the bow shape in this storm, that's where you're going to find those winds. That's what we look for. That's kind of a telltale giveaway. The other thing that we're looking at, notice the green box. That's a flash flood warning. So again, travel is very much discouraged right now across the area just because of the amount of rain we've received and will be receiving. So just wanted to step on, give you a quick update, take a look at the winds inside. Again, maybe some broad rotation, but again, nothing that would give us any idea that there is any sort of tornadic activity with this. And again, it's going to be a little harder to find those strongest winds when you're a little bit further away from the radar stations, and this one's pretty much equidistant between our Fort Cavazos radar and our Fort Worth radar, but again, 20, 30, potentially as high as 50 or 60 miles per hour. So we're going to keep watching this. I'm going to step off for just a few minutes, but for now, we'll let that radar run so you can continue to see it on our stream. All right, thanks for staying with us on our live stream this morning. Do just want to give you a quick update. The severe thunderstorm warning for parts of McLennan and Limestone counties has been allowed to expire. That storm not looking quite as impressive. You see the hail cores have diminished and the winds not nearly as strong, right now down to about 40 miles per hour. One thing that does remain in effect, of course, is the flash flood warning, as these storms are dropping a ton of rain across the area. So something to keep an eye on will be low water crossings, low-lying areas, and of course, as this storm continues to travel through Limestone County, the ever-problematic Navasota River will definitely cause issues as we head through the rest of the day, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Again, thanks for staying with us on 6 Plus, KCENTV.com, and the 6 News app. We will be with you throughout the entirety of this event. All right, seeing there are some questions in the chat, just wanted to jump on and and make sure that we're answering just a few of these. So, Hannah, I see your question here. As far as Waco is concerned, right now, kind of in the clear, a little bit of a clearing, maybe some light sprinkles, a little bit of a rain shower activity. We're watching that next band behind Waco. Currently moving into Hamilton, Jonesboro. All of this is moving east, relatively east-southeast, and so we would expect that to impact the city of Waco here over the next probably hour or so. Right now, it looks to be heavy rain and potentially some very strong wind gusts. That's kind of what we're looking at right now as far as the worst of it. Just want to see if there's any other questions. Not that I see. So. That's what we're looking at right now. Again, kind of in a clear for Waco, maybe a little bit of a light shower activity, but here over the next hour, again, we'll see another wave come through that will bring some heavy rain and potentially some strong wind gusts as well. So that's what we're watching right now, and we will continue watching here over the next little while. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to post them in the Facebook chat. Thanks.
If they don't, production. My mic was muted. Production, I'm the one that's going to be on the wall. This is Aviana.
Hey, since it's going to be all her for like 5 minutes, do you have time to go ahead and set a cleaner shot? Okay.
Yeah, it's only to show her.
Okay. That's fine. You can go ahead and pop me up. Okay.
Hey, Aviana, are you on your severe weather rundown?
Yes, that's good. Yes. Okay.
Got your remote. Or you just want me to space bar through?
Space bar.
Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
Good afternoon, Central Texas. We are weather aware today as we continue to deal with storms. We're taking a look outside right now. You see, looking over Temple, the rain has started coming down. Luckily, though, right now, if you're out, you see some people traveling along Highway 35 right there. No severe thunderstorm warnings in effect near Temple, but we will get to see that rain moving in soon, or hopefully later on this evening when we have that another round of severe thunderstorms rolling in. Right now, 67 degrees. It is very humid out there. Luckily, though, the rain has kind of dampened down the heat that we have been dealing with. We have been near 90 degrees over the past few days, but today, this morning, since we have been getting so much rainfall, we are seeing cooler temps right now in the upper 60s, northeast winds, up to about 16 miles per hour. So breezy right now, but where we are seeing the strong storms or the strong winds is where we're dealing with those severe thunderstorms. So as we are looking at that risk there, but this is the main story for what we're dealing with right now. You see a lot of lightning embedded within these storms, so much lightning to where you can't hardly even see where the rainfall is. Again, lightning indicating how strong those storms are, and we're dealing with a lot of heavy rainfall associated with that as well. So as we continue to deal with these complexes moving over Central Texas, you want to make sure you try to limit travel, especially where we're seeing some of those heavy storms moving near Mahia right there. And there's also a flash flood warning in effect until 3:30 p.m. this afternoon. So with that flash flood warning coming through and over that area right now, again, limit travel. Not a time to travel along those areas. Again, near Mahia, we're looking towards Coolidge as well, and Mart. Now we're on the back end of that, so some rain clearing near Hubbard. They are seeing a less of the heaviest storms as these storms continue to move towards the southeast, and then we're also dealing with another storm complex where that severe thunderstorm warning does remain in effect at least for the next about 30 minutes or so. Severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15 this afternoon. Looking towards Adamsville, just south of Event, again getting that heavy rainfall, and we have seen hail associated with this storm as well. We're talking pocket change hail, but still up to about an inch. So we're talking quarter size to maybe even pea size hail falling within this storm, and you see how heavy the rainfall is. Those brighter pops of pink and red are showing the heavy rainfall that is associated with this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, it's been raining pretty much all morning into the afternoon now, and this is just round one. We can expect another round of storms moving in by the afternoon as we continue to keep our eye on the radar. Again, that's one severe thunderstorm warning in place near Lampasas, well, just north of Lampasas, and over near Mahia, there's that other, well, not severe thunderstorm warning anymore, but flash flood warning that is in place. And so we're going to continue to step through the day. So we talked about what we see right now, but later on in the day, we're going to await more rainfall. And with that, there is now a level 3 enhanced risk over much of our viewing area. So if you see your county in this, mainly along Highway 35 and I-45 as well, is where that enhanced risk is in place. And again, we're talking strong winds, hail associated with this, and we haven't seen any rotation just yet, which is great news, but we still can't rule out the chance for possible spin-ups as we continue to deal with storms again moving in later on this afternoon and evening. So we're going to continue to keep our eyes to the skies here. Again, all hands on deck in the building today as we deal with storms rolling in. Okay, so this is what it's looking like for lunchtime. Almost off track here for our future cast because we're seeing more of the rain here near Mahia. But as we continue through the rest of the evening, you see it went kind of quickly there, but we're going to see a lot of more heavy rainfall following what we're getting through the afternoon. But temperature wise, we're going to stay once again on the cool side, even though, and that's because we have been getting so much heavy rain through the morning, and through the rest of the evening, we're going to see those storms push out towards the east, which is great news for us. Behind it though, we can still be left behind with some isolated downpours and sails. So keep that in mind as you continue to travel, especially later on this evening, and even by tonight dinner time, we're still going to be dealing with rain, but luckily we're not talking heavy rain anymore. We're going to remain weather aware through the entire day though, and then late tonight we could even see another downpour, kind of how we seen early morning into today. We could see that once again as we deal with another round of some isolated sails moving across the area into early Friday morning. We're here on 6 News to keep you all updated, so stay up to date with us. We're going to take you back to the live stream where we'll keep you updated. Woo!
So, All right, y'all still back there with me? Because if so, we need to go ahead and set me up a shot. Yeah. Okay, cool. Go ahead and set the shot. I'm sure the people online are like, what's happening right now? And then let's tilt down a little bit. Or up, or whichever way gets my head out of the bar a little bit. All right, so we'll go with that. Actually, go ahead and tilt down a little bit more now that I've stepped forward. There we go. All right. Okay, want to thank everybody again for staying with us on our live stream today on 6plus, KCENTV.com, and of course the 6 News app. We will break into TV as necessary, but right now we are just watching a couple of severe thunderstorms across the area, really just one severe thunderstorm that we need to talk about here, and that is actually moving into Coryell County. They have extended the severe thunderstorm warning until 1:30, so another 15 minutes here, and this is in effect for Coryell County, moving into Gatesville here. The first thing I want you to show, and then we're going to remove this layer right after I talk about it, is just the sheer amount of lightning. You just saw 6 or 7 or 8 per minute there, or per second, that we're seeing these lightning strikes come in. So again, lightning is kind of the forgotten cousin of severe weather. When we talk about lightning, obviously we don't necessarily give it the same energy that we give the high winds, the hail, and everything else. But remember, a lightning strike can strike several miles out in front of a storm. So if the storm's back here on the line from, Highway 84 down through Killeen, if you're in Gatesville, you're potentially within lightning strike distance there as well. So if you're hearing, what we always say, if thunder roars, go indoors. So that's we want to keep everybody inside during these lightning events as well. So let's go ahead and take the lightning layer off so you can see what's happening. Mostly heavy rainfall within this storm. The severe thunderstorm warning likely not necessarily for hail. That doesn't mean we're not seeing pea to pocket change sized hail, but the bigger concern right now with this severe thunderstorm warning is going to be the potential for those gusty outflow winds, those damaging winds potentially as well. Earlier, we were seeing this storm potential of up to about 60-mile-per-hour winds. If we take a look inside the storm right now, we can kind of see what the winds are doing. May not still be 60 miles per hour, but again, anything, and yeah, they're looking rather less impressive now than they were before. Bulk of the winds right now down towards Highway 190 south of 84. Yeah, you see where we just clicked here, probably 30 miles per hour, 30, 31. Again, not super strong winds. So what will happen is over the next few scans, if this storm continues to, say, pulse down, they will probably let that severe thunderstorm warning expire on time, if not cancel it outright. But again, the bigger concern right now would be the heavy rains. You see these dark burgundy colors within the storm, those heaviest returns on the radar. That's where we're seeing the heaviest rain, and there is a pocket of very heavy rain moving right down Highway 84. So a couple of things to be worried about there between Gatesville and Evant. That's going to be visibility loss because of the sheets of rain. It's also going to be the potential for flooding, especially in lower lying areas. So we always say turn around, don't drown. I'm going to take that one step further and say if you're in Gatesville or Evant and you have business that requires you traveling down Highway 84 between the two towns, I would say hold off. This rain will pass here in the next 20 to 30 minutes through Gatesville, and then that stretch of highway should be available again. Could still be some flooding concerns, but obviously it's more dangerous to drive during the rain. Obviously you want to avoid the flooding, but obviously if you can avoid driving into heavy rain, that is always ideal. So this is one thing that we're going to keep watching. Aviana, if you want to go ahead and put it back in motion, kind of show you what's happening here. Everything is moving basically due west to east, basically right along Highway 84, Highway 190 from west to east. So those two highways right now kind of out of commission. And you just saw in that last scan, it did pulse down a little bit more. So we're starting to see this kind of lose some of its energy, but we're going to keep an eye on it though for any redevelopment. But for right now, I'm going to step off the screen, let you watch the radar run. We'll be back with any updates as necessary. All right. Make sure my microphone is working. I think it is. Might be my IFB that is not working. Okay. I want to thank everybody for staying with us on our live stream this afternoon from this morning. It is now about 1:40 as we move through the heart of your Thursday. And we're not seeing anything severe at the moment. However, we are still seeing heavy rains across the area. If you go to if you're already watching us on Facebook, then you already know. But if you're watching on any of our apps, you can go to our Facebook Live. And in addition to the Facebook Live video, you can find any updates that we post there as well. But we are watching one area of heavy rainfall that's falling from areas of Fort Cavazo, south of Coryell, all the way down through about Harker Heights at this hour. Heavy rainfall expected within this one. You can see the reds and the burgundies within the storm. Also moving east at about 30 miles per hour. It's going to impact the following areas at the following times. You can see up there 147 Nolanville, The Grove by 153, Morgan's Point Resort 202, Temple Belton at 204, and Temple by 216, Academy by 223, Lorena by about 230, and then Bell Falls by about 232. So that's what we're looking at with that cell. I'm going to zoom out, show you what's going on in the rest of the area. This is not going to be a quick event, my friends. Usually we get these storms that come through. It's about 2 or 3 hours and we're done. This one's going to last a better portion of the day here. We got waves of rain possible as we head through the rest of the day. So we're just going to take a look at a couple of things here. First thing we're looking at is the heaviest rain that we're seeing in the area, potential hail. That's all well east of the area. That's over in East Texas, Southeast Texas. For us, though, it is just rain. The problem is, over the past 3 weeks, just rain is also a problem because everything's full. Lake Waco is roughly 20 feet above its banks. Belton Lake is about 10 feet above its banks, so the more rain we get, the more problems we are going to continue to have. Flooding is a concern for today. You can see this area of a flash flood warning in effect for basically I-35 all the way over to I-45 in a line from McLennan through Limestone into Freestone County. So this is the area of most concern right now in terms of rain. The good news is where we have this flash flood warning in effect, that's where the rain came through earlier. Getting a break right now, that's what we need. We need obviously breaks as we head through these events so that we don't just completely inundate ourselves with rainfall. Another flash flood warning in effect until about 2:15 for parts of Bosque County. Kind of skimming along Hill County there. But for us, the biggest area that we looked at, and we already kind of looked at a little bit earlier, is this area from Gatesville down to Killeen. And then behind that, we have more waves of shower and thunderstorm activity moving in from the west all the way back towards San Saba, into Lampasas and Killeen and Temple. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now. All of this, unfortunately, is developing east to west, and it's moving west to east. So all of these cells will continually hit areas that are kind of in line with each other. It's what we call a bit of a training system, you know, like train cars kind of lining up and moving along the same direction. So that's what we're dealing with there. So if you are in that area, if you're basically from Bell County back through Lampasas into San Saba counties, you're going to get a lot of rain here over the next couple of hours. So that is something that we need to definitely prepare for. Flooding is a definite possibility, especially in those areas. And even not in those areas where we see rain develop over the course of the afternoon, flooding will be a huge problem that we'll have to deal with potentially over the course of the day. Especially, and I want to point this out, if you're along the Navasota River. The Navasota River has been causing issues, still under a flood warning from the last time we had a big rain last week. So yeah, so obviously still very swollen. So if you live along or you have to travel along the Navasota River today, take caution. All the way from Limestone County all the way down through Robertson and Brazos counties, that will be a concern that we'll have to deal with throughout the rest of the day. Here in Temple, we can hear the rain obviously up on our roof already starting to pick up in intensity, so we're going to continue to watch that storm as it moves along Highway 14 or I-14 from Killeen into Temple. But for now, let the radar run, let you take a look. If you have any questions, of course, if you're on our Facebook chat, go ahead and let us know.